Like a wallet chain for your brain, this is the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast, brought to you in part by the Gumball Head Sobriety Society.
Oh, hey. That's us. The Gumball Head Sobriety Society. In part of the Gumball Head Mental Health Network. Good Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 8 a.m., October 20th, 2025. Another episode of the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast. This is Road Rants, where we bring to you things that we complain about and we probably shouldn't while we're driving, so that we can focus our attention on the rants and the road. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I sure did. Man, we were busy this weekend, recording podcasts and doing grown-up things. We recorded three podcasts this weekend, including one dual interview. So Thursday, we recorded a podcast with Nick Tropolis. He's a emo pop punk musician out of Florida. Friday, we interviewed Dr. Brian King. He's a comedian, he's an author, and he's a psychologist with a master's in psychology. And then on Saturday morning, we had a extra special interview. And I say extra special, not that any of our get-to-know-you guests are not extra special, but this one went both ways. This one was I interviewed and they interviewed me at the same exact time. It was an interesting concept, and it worked. It worked so well. So the first half of our interview was me interviewing our guest, and then the second half was the guest interviewing me. And let me just say, Carly, Dr. Jennifer, and Dr. Megan were remarkable. They are working on the Toxic Lab project. There is a Facebook group called Justice for Otsego. They are inspecting the groundwater PFAS levels and chemical levels in a small town in Michigan, right in between the city of Kalamazoo and the city of Grand Rapids, going north and south. And Otsego used to have a paper mill there that was owned by a couple of major Superfund corporations, including Philip Morris. But regardless, the interview went on. And the reason why they interviewed me, well, I grew up playing in the water. I grew up in this town. I grew up being a part of the paper mill and being a part of the culture, the community, the people. And it was a great interview. It went on for 2 hours. It would have went on longer, but Podbean restricts us to 2 hours. But I think the ladies were ready to go anyways. There were children involved they needed to tend to, and cats, and business research that they needed to do. So, but stay tuned for all three of those interviews. Once I get them done in post-production, we'll get them posted. I'll have at least one out tomorrow. At least one tomorrow we'll have out for the week. And the other two, well, we'll have those out when we get them out. So hopefully you guys get the opportunity to check all three of them out. I'm looking forward to it. The Justice for Otsego Project, like I said, you can find them on Facebook. You can look up toxicactionlab.org. Find out more about the water levels, the PFAS levels, and the hazardous chemical levels in Michigan. You can find them out in Indiana and some of the northern Ohio spots too. This research is being conducted by, of course, Dr. Jennifer from Michigan State University. I'm not giving last names out until I release the podcast. But if you want to know who they are, you can just look them up on their websites or their respective Facebook groups. And then, yesterday, Dre I was gone all day. I got to spend the entire day with my kids. It was wonderful. Now, you guys have heard me piss and moan about my kids, complain about my kids, crying in growth spurts, etc., etc. It's part of being a child, part of being a grown-up, part of being a parent is listening to these gripes and these groans and these complaints from children. For about 7 hours yesterday, all 3 kids got along. They did what I asked. They performed at elite levels. And then once Trey got home, they fell apart. They melted down. They cried. They were sad. They wanted this. They wanted that. They wanted snacks. They wanted a drink. They wanted water. It kind of helped me see something, though. The differential in parenting. Recently, the kids told Dre that they like it when Dad's home because they like Dad better. And of course, that's not something I strive for. But there's a difference in parenting. There's no doubt, an incomprehensible difference in parenting. I am the lawbringer and the assertive parent. I'm the one that says no more than yes. But I'm pretty flexible, there are things that the kids want, the kids need, and I understand that. Coming from a dad's side of things, Dad, can we play video games? If I'm not playing them, sure, I don't have a problem with that. Mom, no, that's your dad's video games. So she's respectful of my belongings. But I also require the kids to sit on the couch while they're playing. That way, if they drop their controller when they get excited, it bounces off the nice cushy couch. It doesn't fall onto our concrete floors. Same thing with cell phones. If you're going to be on the phone watching YouTube or whatever it is you're doing, you need to sit your flat butt on the flat couch and not be crawling all over the place like a crazy monkey trying to find a limb to climb onto. Because phones get dropped. Phones get dropped in the toilet. They get dropped on the concrete. They get dropped into laundry baskets that end up getting unfolded. They get dropped, into food. And that's one of those things that bother me. For anybody that knows me well, a few things in this world that really, really get to me. Number one is cat puke. And I say that because I had my involvement with some cat puke last night, and that's just wretched, nasty stuff. Not fur balls. It was not a fur ball. It was vomit. Emesis from the body of a cat. And just talking about it kind of dries my throat out a little bit. And then baby poop. Baby poops I struggle with. And these are all things that a lot of people struggle with, but it's a lot of people are like, how can you be a parent if you struggle with that so much? Well, baby poop's not going to stop me from being a good dad. If kids got a dirty diaper, I'm going to change the dirty diaper. I don't have to like it. I might gag a little bit, but it's kind of one of those things. Dog crap is the same way, though. Dog crap can be eliminated. It can be avoided. It can be cleaned up by the owners. I do not like dog crap. I can do blood, I can do brains, I can do, guts, do gore. But those 3 things right there, they ruin my day for sure. And I see a lot of it nowadays, Not dog crap so much. Actually I do. I see dog crap every day at my job. But avoidable piles. And it's not even, it's just the thought of what it is. Human waste, to me, outside of the body, expelled waste is, I guess, overall one of those things. I sit there and watch people have their blood drawn all day long. I started IVs for a long time. Never had an issue starting an IV. Never had an issue watching blood pump. But man, as soon as people start puking, it's like, here's some Zofran, stop it. But hey, we all have our things, right? But the kids, like I said, the kids were great this weekend. And I got to spend time with them. That was the biggest thing. I spent time playing with the 3-year-old. I'm sorry, not the 3-year-old. The 1.5-year-old. Her and I got to play with balls this weekend. We did some colors. But Friday night was a little rough. Friday night, couldn't get the baby calmed down until about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And again, another one of those struggles of parenting. Just trying to get the baby calmed down and quiet and resting so that my wife could get some rest. And then very early Saturday, I started getting calls for service for work. So things didn't work out to my advantage. I got a wake-up call yesterday as well. So some of those struggles that go with being a service technician, doing what I do. I love what I do, though. I love the fact that I get to help people. I love the fact that I get to assist people when they're struggling with things and going through some stuff. And they're pretty simple fixes over the course of the weekend. So I'm thankful for that. But hey, sometimes they're not simple fixes. Sometimes they're pretty major, and we gotta do extra work. Most of the time, pretty simple 1-2, maybe 3-hour remedy, and we're on about our lives. So it works out pretty good. I wanted to touch base today. Together, Light and I we did a series last week on purpose. What is your purpose, and are you living a purpose-driven life? And the series, like he had mentioned on, I don't know, early in the week, Monday, maybe Tuesday, hey, I had asked, what's your purpose on Facebook, and it gained some traction. And no doubt his sense of purpose on Facebook actually did, in fact, garner some attention from his viewers, from his followers on Facebook, and he got a lot of great feedback on that. So we decided to do not a TikTok, but a Podbean series on that. We did 3 or 4 episodes about purpose. What's our purpose in life? And Friday we kind of wrapped that up into a nice little package, and we came down to the definition of purpose when it comes to how to define purpose when it comes to our lives. And it was reason. And I went through that series trying to take an educational, informational, and obvious approach to things. But what it boiled down to is, what is the reason? Why are we here? Why are we here? The reason we are here is because that's the purpose, and we defined purpose as reason. And I was struggling to kind of put it all together and come up with an absolute definition of purpose until I walked into Little Caesars on Friday afternoon to pick up the meal for our family. And I was standing there, and I had looked at the big, tall thing that they put the pizzas in. I believe it's called the Pizza Portal. And I was like, and I had said to myself, what's the purpose of this? And then it dawned on me, what is the reason this machine is here? It made it much easier for me to understand the difference between purpose and responsibility. So I was able to define things a little bit better by stating, the purpose, the reason this machine is here is to save time. But it didn't save time because I was in the middle of a podcast when I arrived, a live podcast. So I had to leave my phone in the car when I arrived to retrieve our pies of pizza. And I didn't have my phone, so my phone was rendered useless. Their technology was rendered useless. And I had said to the lady, hey, I'm here to pick up number 3 in the Pizza Portal. My phone's in the car. And she looked at me and she's like, well, go get your phone. I said, no, it's not like that. I just need my pizza. Well, how do I know it's you? Well, you want my ID? I mean, it's pizza. I'm not here to steal pizza. I already paid for it. She's like, how do I know it's you, though? I'm like, really? You got a machine there that people can walk into, and as long as they got a code, they can get the pizza from. The customer service is garbage. It's terrible. So if that thing is there to save time, why not just hand me my pizza and I'll be gone? I paid for it online. That saved time right there. You don't have to wait for the transaction. The transaction's already been approved. Just give me my pizza. Why else would I tell you my name if it wasn't me? You know, I don't know. I guess there are pizza thieves out there. But the purpose behind it was to save time. When I got to the car, I had jumped back onto the podcast and relieved Together Light of his awkward responsibilities as a co-host. And I told everybody, I said, you know, here's something crazy. Here's something wild. The purpose, you know, the reason is to save time, is to save, you know, money and stuff. But it dawned on me that the big difference, you know, most people look at purpose and they confuse it with responsibility. They confuse purpose with responsibility. And then I asked the chat, I said, what is your purpose? Oh, well, you know, to wake up and go to work and take care of business and come home. No, that's responsibility. That's required of you. Raise your kids, you know, that's required of you. That's not purpose. What is the reason you wake up every day? What's the reason you do things? And that kind of took things off and broke it down and put everything into a nice little package to kind of close out that series. Today, we are starting a series on passion. What drives you? What are you passionate about? And then we will do another series after that on principles. So purpose was last week's content. This week we're going to do passion, and then next week we'll do principles. Purpose is the reason we're here. Passion, what are we passionate about? What do we love? What do we put our efforts into? And then principles. How do we bring the two together? And that'll be next week. So stay tuned for that. And I also want to give a big shout out to our co-host, who, number one, is great. He comes in, he entertains the masses, and he keeps the chat going during our Get to Know You series recordings. But just obtained his ministerial. He is now an ordained minister in the Church of Gnomes, and just want to give a big shout out to that. At first, I just kind of giggled. I was like, he's a minister. And then once I found out he was a minister in the Church of Gnomes, I'm like, what the hell is that? But then it made sense to me, you know. Purpose, you know, share the information, share the wealth. And then he's passionate about it. He wants to share that information on another platform. I myself, too, am an ordained minister from the Universal Life Church. My credentials were, you know, I did a quiz. I had studied a bunch of things. I passed my quiz, and I got my certification. No, I'm not. I didn't spend 10 years of my life going through an apprenticeship program or a bishop program or an elder program in a church. I simply woke up one day, was asked to be the marrying party of a wedding, and participated in that. So I did it. I've done it. It's there. It's completed. So, the end. The end. Story done. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. It's time to wrap this podcast off as we are pulling into our place of employment. I hope you guys enjoy your day. I look forward to talking to everybody today and getting in touch with everybody after 5 for the live drive at 5-ish with our podcast regarding passion. And until our paths cross, stay strong, stay focused, stay sober. Much love. We'll see you soon.